Welcome to the Shark Bite Show, where we dive into the stories of our members, coaches, friends, and family of Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition. All right, let's roll. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Shark Bite Show. I am here with Jhoan Falcon and Francisco Gomez, or Emperor Ficus, as he likes to be called.
Emperor Ficus.
I don't like to be called that.
That's not true.
You guys like to call me.
And I just like to correct Jhoan Falcon, not Falcon.
Bro. Joanne, we are going on
Johan.
3 years.
This is 3 years now.
Of you just changing your name at every opportunity you get.
Oh my goodness. One day they'll say my name right.
All right, so this dude's good at grid, but he doesn't know his own name. So the three of us are here to talk about our end of season. Sadly, the Sharks' 5th season came to an abrupt early end. And we thought it would be, maybe fun's the wrong word. It would be cathartic for us to talk about how the season ended and fill some people in and just have some fun with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you. We're recording in the middle of the day, so I appreciate you giving me the time to do this. We're gonna start off with an end of season recap, and I'll start it off, and you guys jump in where you need to.
Okay.
Right. So we had 4 regular season matches. We played our 3rd and 4th against the Gainesville Wild and the.
Before you continue, I just want to say that I wore my tightest shirt possible today just to make sure that, it was like grid-like, like back on the grid. Just want to say that.
We're going to spend some time on this later. Joanne and Ann has very strong feelings about the tightness of the grid jerseys.
It's not just me. I got people behind me. Back my petition.
You cannot put them on or take them off by yourself.
Right.
It's impossible.
It's a two-person
It's a team
operation.
effort. That's actually one of my favorite things after the end of matches is all of us sweaty dudes going up to each other and helping rip the jerseys off each other.
Yeah.
Not till next year, though. All right, so we played match 3 and match 4. Match 3 was against Gainesville Wild, the top seed in the entire league, who deserved to be.
Mm-hmm.
And match 4 was against the Orlando Aces.
Yep.
Right? We played against the Gainesville Wild, and no shade thrown at them. We did not do a very good job. We did an objectively poor job against them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have beaten us either way, but we did not show up in that one. Then we played against the Orlando Aces with our season on the line, and we had the opportunity to control our destiny, and we didn't.
Yep.
I guess we did control it.
Yeah.
We controlled it to the off season. So, so our season is officially over. Sadly, Grid still has 2 more months, and we will not be taking part in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching.
We're just gonna be watching.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot harder to go on Instagram right now for me. So,
Yeah.
guys, what are your thoughts? Fico, let's go with you first. How do you feel about the end of season, the fact that we're done?
Well, it sucks. It's obviously we had huge expectations coming in. We had on paper the most talented team that we ever had, it's the Sharks, and I would throw it there on the league.
Mm-hmm.
So ending the season early, especially the way that we played those last 2 matches was not very good. It was, I don't know how to describe it, disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointing. And and it was no one particular reason or anything like that. We're just the team. It's a team sport. So we just didn't show up in some races that we should have definitely won. Nobody in the league would have beaten those races. Like the first Jack and Jill, there's no way we lose that Jack and Jill to anyone if we go correctly. So disappointing. That's, I guess, the best word to put it. Disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. I think going into this season, when it started, I thought completely different outlook on the season than what ended up happening. I think we came into the season, like you said, first time ever with a really talented team, real good players supposed to be playing. And then it just didn't pan out. For some reason, commitment wasn't there, players backing out, life happening, things like that. And we went into the season almost like as if we still had that talent, right? Like we went into the matches thinking that we could just go and, trust have faith in our talent. Let our talent take us to the end of the matches, and that's not usually how we play. It's something we talked about after the matches. Like we usually win races when we win because we execute, we transition quickly, we hustle on and off. those kind of things. We don't win because we have somebody who can snatch 225 for 5 touch and go power snatches, right?
Like, right. Yeah, we were. It was interesting. So it's 5 seasons for me, right? 4 for you, Fico. 3 for you, Jhoan. Right. So we've had a pretty clear identity the whole time. You know, we're like the spunky underdogs, and we play that way, and then we tend to overperform because of it.
Yeah.
And I've not heard anybody else say it yet, but I think that's probably true. Like, we went into this season with a different mentality because for the first time ever, we were comparable talent-wise to everybody else.
Yep. Right.
You know, and as those players dropped off for whatever reasons they did, we didn't really adjust our mindset, it seems like, you know?
No. Yeah, definitely.
I think that actually explains a lot of what happened on Saturday. I hadn't thought about it like that till right now, but it does, right? Because we have to hustle.
Yeah.
We have to overperform at every opportunity. And we chose not to do that. And that's a wild thought, you know?
Yeah.
I know for me, like the beginning of the season, I remember thinking like, this is almost like too good to be true. Like the amount of talent we had.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember thinking that as well. Like, exactly. Like, going into the season, I was like, man, this is going to be a really fun season. Like, all these players, like, for the first time, you know, not going to have to try to do everything that you're not ready to do. Like, you know, there's people for that, and we're going to have the talent. So I was really like you, super excited for the season at the beginning.
I mean, it's the same. I think we lost our identity. Like, we had the talent, and we just completely forgot like how the Sharks got to be like one of the top teams, at least on the North and in the league.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. Like we literally forgot who we were. Because we had some people who were really strong all of a sudden.
Starting by me, I was like, oh, look at this roster. Shoot, I'm not gonna play.
I remember having that talk. You know, we had that group chat. I remember Fico being like, man, I'm not going to get to play at all this season.
No.
You know?
I was very happy.
Yeah. And then fast forward to the end of the season, bro. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who played more than you the entire season.
No, that's true.
You definitely you are our minutes leader for sure this year, you know? And great job. But it might have been better if you weren't.
I'm still sore.
Yeah, I guess we should say that we're recording this 5 days after the season ended.
Yep.
And Jhoan doesn't feel anything. Me and Francisco are still limping
sore
everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I'm sore everywhere.
Yeah, my legs are sore after that doubleheader, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so there were a lot of big changes this season, right? Like a lot of big changes. Let's talk about some of those. Let's give our thoughts on them. You know, positive or negative. Maybe some insight that people wouldn't really understand. So the first one is that generally grid matches are like 2 hours long. They're 11 races, just about 2 hours long. There's a very specific feel that comes from that, right? And this year we tested out 1 hour matches. We tried them in the As One tournament last year, but this was the first time teams had, you know, full player rosters, and there was a little more competition this year. What were your guys' thoughts on that? So hour-long matches, and they were, to be clear, they were missing either the triads, which are the most CrossFit-like of the races, or the echoes, which are usually extremely high skill races that are very fast. So each match was missing one of those.
Yep.
All right, so what were your guys' thoughts on those? Jhoan, go first.
So I personally, I liked it for the doubleheader because it was manageable. Like, we were able to play 2 races back to back, and you know, our bodies were sore, we were beat up, but we weren't destroyed. You know. So I did like it for that. It made the races a little bit shorter, you know, but selfishly, I didn't like it because one thing that we are good at, like we just talked about, transitioning, hustling on and off, knowing how many reps you have to hit before you get out, you know, sprint out of there. That comes really into play on a triad or an echo, right? That's where we shine the most. So for one of those races to be out for us in each individual match, that was a big hit for us personally. And I know everyone can say that, but like, you know, I truly believe that is, you know, why we succeeded previous years. So so it was good for the doubleheader. I think I like the format when it's tournament style doubleheaders, but I do like having a longer race when it's a single match because it lets, you know, those abilities show, especially for us.
Yeah, for me it's kind of the same. For me, my favorite races are echo and triad for me to do. that's usually what I shine. That's usually like, either I do the first part of the match, which you have echoes, or I do the last part of the match, we have triads. So I usually only do one of the other, never, a whole thing. So I think it just changed a little bit on
you don't do echoes and triad?
Never. Believe it or not.
Oh.
Not on one match. I never. Yeah, Nick will never put me to. Yeah, no. We get fresh legs there, bro.
No, not in my case.
Not in your case.
Fresh legs or Johan's legs.
With him. Anyways, but I think that it changes the dynamic on the team a little bit, where I think they're fun because Grizz in general is fun. Like, it's not we didn't have good time. We're just talking about Nick picking over here. Like, it's not like we're not gonna come next year because we have I love it. I like it because my wife loved it because I'll be there in an hour. I'll be faster home. All that stuff. So it was good on that end. I think television, like the streaming was awesome, and maybe the hour was perfect for that. But just in way as a player, we take the whole day, all that stuff. So getting to play every single match for me was like ideal. That's like, especially those races, which I don't know, they're fun. Like, yeah. Even on the echoes, like we play the echoes, but changing the dynamic from having 2 echoes instead of 4. Before we have 4 echoes where you have 5 girls doing that, 5 guys doing this. So, it's different. So it's a different also task, because now on the echoes, you only going to do one thing. I'm going to do one thing, where before we were doing at least 2 or 3, so it just changed the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point on the echoes, right? Because like when it's just guys or just girls, you have 5 people, not 10, right? So like if you guys who are weightlifters and me who's a gymnast, we probably have 2 responsibilities in that. Whereas when we have 10 people and guys and girls, you're lucky if you have 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like...
That's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't even have 1. That's true.
I did like the guy-girl echo, like the combos. I thought that was cool, just to see the difference, and then just seeing the girls move the same weight as the guys, Yeah,
that was pretty cool to watch.
It's cool to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it added a whole new level of strategy, like how we chose to use Hannah for all those stepovers, right? Yeah. Which I initially thought was too slow. And then you watch the speed she was able to move versus what the guys were doing with the burpee.
Yeah, and even the Gainesville guy who's like probably the fastest guy in the
he was
league
super
at like
fast.
burpee box jump overs.
Yep.
Hannah was still beating him because that step without the burpee is just faster.
Yeah, you're forced to decide, do I want to risk like a strength deficit here versus a speed deficit, and which of those can be overcome?
Yeah.
And I think there were some super cool visuals of like me against Gainesville's girl, I can't remember who was doing the double touches, or Kara against Gainesville's guy doing the double touches and seeing who could go faster. I thought that was pretty cool.
I love that combination. I was just saying, like, it just it just changed the dynamic. Let's put it that way. It's just different the way that you set up the team, or even like get players in, or like expectation on the players, coming in, because you tell most players like, I want to play more matches, all that stuff, but then you only have maybe 1 or 2 things now that it's ideal. At least for me, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I just do 2 things right, but it just changed the dynamic of what we've seen from previous seasons. Besides the tournament,
Yeah, and like selfishly for our team, like you said, John, that we do really well at transitions. Not counting this year. That's usually our strength, right?
This year.
Yeah, you give us triads, we're like, thank you. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter that our athleticism is usually not at the same level as the team we're playing. Like, you make us think under pressure. You give us opportunities to do multiple things at the same time. Like, that's where we shine. You take that out of most of the matches selfishly. Not that this is better or worse, but selfishly, that hurts us for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Usually we had an all-star coach for the most of the matches. So.
Yeah, that asshole was busy this year.
I know, that's true.
Yeah, he was too busy on the rings this year. I don't know.
That changes. Yeah. Well, not only the rings, you had to move the barbell and all that stuff.
You guys are true. You do remember me saying that's the one thing I didn't want to do, right? I don't want to touch a barbell.
Yeah. I don't want to do an overhead squat. Yeah. 12 overhead squats, 155. Let's go, Nick.
I don't want to do a thruster. Oh, hey, bro, you're on ladder. Okay, so those are big changes, right? Another big change was the ringer points, right? So ringer points, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, during the matches, there's 2 opportunities basically for each team to send like a gladiator out there against the other team's best at a specific movement. So, for example, there's farmer carries at 400 pounds for 80 feet. There's 5 clusters at a really heavy weight. There's ring muscle ups as fast as possible. It's something one-on-one, right? What did you guys think about that? Because, Jhoan, you weren't in a ringer. Fico, you and I were. What are our thoughts on those? This episode is brought to you by Punch Gunk. Punch Gunk is a pain relief and anti-inflammatory rub. You put it on your muscles, your joints. You're going to feel a whole lot better if you use it. I know that a couple weeks ago, my back was killing me from a deadlift workout. Couldn't bend over without strong discomfort. One of the players convinced me to use some, rubbed it on my back. About 15 minutes later, I was doing muscle ups and snatches with no pain at all. I absolutely could not believe it, but it's true. They're a supporter of the podcast now. If you want to try it out, go to punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10. You'll get a discount. This stuff is amazing. It's all over my gym now. The Southwest Florida Sharks and the Florida Grid League use it. Big supporter of it now. Check it out at punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10 for a discount.
I don't know. I'm split. So I love the ringer point. I love like competition that's the only reason I play grid. I mean, talent wise, but once you put me next to somebody, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I love that piece of one-on-one, you and me, let's go. But a couple things. One is like the point systems, in a regular match, you have a time frame. It doesn't really matter if you finish a minute behind or a second behind, you still get the point. So just explain that, right?
Okay. In a normal race, the winner of the race gets 2 points. The loser of the race gets 1 point, unless they don't finish in the time cap, in which case it gets 0 points.
Correct.
Right.
And in the ringer point, we had to be 20% of
within 20% of the winning scorer's time.
So
or reps or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So you get 5. And I don't finish. I'm not on 4 by the time you finish 5. I get 0 points.
Correct. Right. 0 point. Yeah. So that just can change huge the dynamic of a race. Yeah. Because that's 2 points to 1 or all that stuff. But also you take away the dynamic of the team aspect. So it's either you have the talent to do this or you don't. So so it doesn't really. There's no team aspect on that. So. Both, I love the competition piece. It just, for me, was like, grid is about team. So, I guess, I don't know. I liked it, but I think I'd rather have the team aspect of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have specialists like that are really good at certain things, like, they're going to win that ringer point for you and they're going to get the shine and they're going to get their moment. I think it's helpful when you're in a lot of matches to have that ringer point when you're not doing the ringer point, obviously, to take a break. Like, all right, let them go do the ringer point. I get to bring my heart rate down from the previous match, get ready for the next one. But on the other side of that, like Val, like when she had to go right into the ringer point after doing the thruster mirror, right? Like that's kind of tough. So it adds another dynamic, another layer to coaching, to strategy. I think it plays really well to the fans as well, kind of, because, you get to see, you get to see someone doing something really cool, really fast that you're not going to see from anywhere else. So
I'm gonna lie, the best thing that we watch on the grid this year, it was ringer points. It was at least for us, Nick walking with the farmer's carry. That was a highlight of the race. Yeah. And that last is probably on YouTube or Instagram everywhere. It was the sprint between
Chris and Josh
and Sam. Sam from the Gainesville. So that was the best moment I think we ever had at grid. And that was on a ringer point. So again, it's a
toss up.
It's a toss up, but we're talking about which one you like best or not. So it's not like I don't like it. I'm fine with it. I just think I'd rather have more of a team aspect. Or maybe we do ringer points with 3 people. Or something different where you have a little more team aspect of them,
Yeah. Guy, girl, pair, ringer points.
Something like that, or more,
Yeah. I struggle with it also because I like the competitiveness, right? I like the excitement of it for sure. Like
it is exciting.
Yeah.
The ringer points are exciting. Everybody's like on their edge. Is amazing.
When I won mine, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but I also struggle with the fact that I don't really love that it's an individual thing. You know, I don't know whether that's because our team doesn't have the most specialist players.
Yeah, we could be selfish on that. Yeah.
Or if it's just that I enjoy what I like most about grid is the team part. You know, I don't enjoy me doing well as much as I enjoy like us doing well. You know.
Yeah.
But it is exciting as hell. So, you know, provided we find the right ringer points that are all exciting, because I would imagine we'll test out some different ones next year too. You know. And that we only have the exciting options, I would imagine they're here to stay. Because
I think so.
Yeah, because they're exciting as hell. The videos after my farmer carry, after the sprint, I'm trying to think of what are the other ones. There's one other one that I'm drawing a blank on right now, but like the crowd is just losing their minds afterwards.
Yeah, there's
right?
a bunch of the flip sled.
Yeah, right,
Too.
exactly.
Yeah.
The one missed hand flip sled. Right?
Yeah. I'm mad about that still, but
yeah. You're right. They're extremely, extremely exciting. I don't love them all that much, but I think they're here to stay, and I think that it does add a whole extra layer of strategy, which I think is very cool.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, like because you can lose a match because of the ringer points.
You can.
Yeah.
You know, a big part of our Tampa win was us winning the rope climbs with Jenna, and then stealing the farmer carry. So that was a 4-point spread that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. You know,
Correct. Yeah. I agree.
Especially for a team like us that is habitually bad at like ladder and mirror. You know.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, what about the double header? Right. So we played multiple matches in one day before, but like we literally played against Gainesville. I said, "Hey guys, go chill out for 20 minutes," and then we started warming up for Orlando. Right. I'll full transparency. I was the one who argued against it not being that big a deal. Right. Like I said, hey, we're athletes. I'd much rather work out and play twice in a row than have a 7-hour break in between, especially because we all live 3 hours away from the match. What are your guys' thoughts on that doubleheader?
Okay, first of all, if we're talking about how much pressure that puts on your body, it was a lot for me. Like, a lot. Like, I'm still hurting, no kidding. Like, it was a lot for me. I'm not used to that volume, or it's not the volume. Volume I am used to is the speed.
It's the intensity.
Intensity. So, that was really tough for me. So getting really back warmed up for that second match was like super, super hard for me.
Yeah. How many times did I have to yell at us like, guys, we have to get moving?
Yeah.
Remember, we're sitting in the back, we're warming up, and people do like one pull up and then talk for 10 minutes. Like, no, you have to get sweaty. Let's go.
Purposely did not in the first match, my last race, my quad did something. I have no idea what it did. So it was hurting. So I purposely had to stay warm.
Right.
Like the whole time. There's no way that because if you let it cold, I don't know what's going to happen, all that stuff. So I have to keep moving, all that stuff. So that was hard. But in general, I like the double matches, the double headers.
Yeah.
I love that the way the league sets them up. Like you get more people in, you get like, TV, all that stuff. Like that stuff was awesome. Like, yeah. I have no complaints about the doubleheader. The way the show of it.
Yes,
put it that way.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. I like having all the teams there. You get to watch other teams go when you're not going. Specifically going back to back, like I went into the doubleheader thinking to myself like I need to warm up because of what happened the previous match. Like I strained a hamstring just like not warming up, whatever. So like I went into the match, I'm like, I need to make sure I'm ready, and like I want to try to make sure that the team's ready, just so that doesn't happen. But it is tough. It is tough to do when you're playing and then got to cool down and then warm back up. But I think, like you just said, like we're athletes, we're all athletes. Like we've done it before. Like we can do that. We can play, warm up. As long as we're responsible and, you have a schedule to warm up, I think it's very manageable. And I think there's a lot of benefits to doing those double headers that I love to see them. And the AS1 tournament prepared us for them, I think. Had we not had that AS1 tournament, I think I would have been more shocked at like the double header and like, my body would have been more shocked. But I kind of expected to be even more beat up, honestly, than what we were on the weekend.
This guy.
I did because the AS1 tournament like really like wrecked us. I mean, wrecked me. And so like this weekend I was like, okay, I mean, I was very sore, but I thought it was going to be worse.
You know why he can't say his own name? Because he keeps calling it the AS1 tournament.
No, that's what it is.
As one.
As one.
We are as one. So, all right. I no longer believe anything you tell me about your name. Yeah. So I actually get what you're saying. Like, I felt like crap afterwards, right? But that's because we are entirely different levels of athlete. During the matches, I'm with you. I felt the same way. I expected to be more beat up going into the second one than I was. Because I did more barbell work than I normally do, I expected to be like, oh man, my body's gonna feel like shit, and it didn't. I was okay.
Yeah.
Afterwards, totally different story. But,
Yeah.
But that, yeah. I
was gonna add to it. I was sorry to cut you off. It's like that's half of the season. So that doubleheader was half the season.
Yeah.
So that's why also on the aspect of it, every team can have a bad day. You know, in general, you talk about Yankees. Football, any team can have a bad day at any given day. So if you have a bad day, you have your season
like we
there.
Had a bad day.
we had a bad day.
We had a bad day. Then you have half the season. There's no way to recover from that. Let's put it that way.
So that's what I was gonna say next. Is like I do think I like the doubleheaders a lot. Like I don't think I would be super upset if that was how all our matches were played. But I would like more matches if that's gonna happen.
Yes.
Because you're right. Like and I want to make sure that I don't put any shade on any of the other teams. Nobody did any, like, we're not taking away from anybody else's success.
No, definitely.
We had a bad day. You know, we showed up not mentally prepared and then executed as a team who's not mentally prepared would be. And because of that, our season's over.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
Because like you said, half the season happened in 5 hours.
And
you know,
this league now, at least, well, the whole thing, the whole league is like, there's no weak team at all.
Yeah.
Anybody beats anybody any given time.
Right.
Like there's no like it used to be where you can just show up and we knew we were gonna win unless we really bombed it. You know, all that stuff. That doesn't happen anymore. Like Tampa knew they would just show up and beat everybody.
Yeah, I mean, they had years where they would do that.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
I know they didn't take it that way, but you know that's just how it was.
Yeah, but I mean, hold on. When you have the best talent, you get to do that, right? And when you not only have the best talent, but the other teams aren't showing up with talent, you're right. There are opportunities for what people call like layups, right? And there's nothing like that now.
No,
there's no team where it's like, yeah, they're not very good. Like every one of us can beat the other ones at the right time.
Correct.
And
correct.
I can't speak to the South as strongly, right? Because we've only had 2 matches against a South team in 5 years, but in the North, man, there's not a single layup.
Nope.
You know?
Nope.
We went into that Orlando match being like, guys, we shit the bed in match 1. Our season is on the line right now. Orlando had nothing to play for. Their season was over already, and they still beat us.
Yep.
You know, like there are no layups in the North at all.
And when we say that second, like the first match, oh my God, that was painful for us. But the second match, we play. Like, I was happy with how we executed. There was a couple things there and there we could have done better, all that stuff. But it was just straight up, they beat us.
Yeah, they beat us.
There was no, like... We could have maybe do a couple adjustment on strategy and a couple races, all that stuff, but...
I think Orlando's gotten a lot better, like, season over season. Like, this season's the best I've seen them.
Again, the whole league now. I mean, their talent level, Orlando now, Gainesville talent level... all that stuff. So that's why we cannot rely any longer on talent. It's team wise.
Right.
So we may think that Gainesville has the best talent. Maybe that's debatable. I don't know. But the way they play and the way they have been playing is like they're one unit. There's no, you can tell. Yeah. There's no egos. There's nothing. They just go out there and do their role.
They're playing as one for sure.
They're playing as one.
As one.
They're playing as one, and I mean, I'm happy for them. It sucks for us, but and that's how everybody now needs to be like, you know, we talk about sports here. So sometimes the most talented team on sport doesn't win. It's actually whoever plays together.
That's literally why you play the sport.
Whoever has a motto or has like something that they hold on to and like gets the best out of them. So that's what now needs to happen, because talent wise, every team is good.
Yeah.
And it keeps going up too, right?
Correct.
It's like we haven't reached a peak. I mean, there's so many people who could be playing that aren't playing yet, you know, and teams are going to convince them to play eventually, and they're going to realize, oh, like this is really fun. I want to do this. So you're right. Everybody has to get on board with that. And I think it's interesting too, like we talked about the 2-hour matches and how they probably benefited us a little bit better, right? I think some of the teams now are benefiting from the fact that these 1-hour matches really, really fit their play styles. You know,
Yes, yeah,
and
big time.
Good on them. They recruited correctly and are playing correctly for that. You know, maybe we're a little behind the curve on that.
Yeah, I agree.
We were, in our mind, it was like, and I should say in my mind, it was, we need players to last this long because we don't usually have those top level ones, right? And I think we learned, right, even without the top level ones, you can still be okay. You can still be good. You just need a couple more of them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what I say back to a grid is about specialists.
Yeah.
So this style of setup, 1 hour, you do need a specialist.
Yes.
Because you'll be doing 1 movement or 2 movement per match, besides a couple of them. Like, he'll be in a single race and will do something, you know? And then, like, you know, Kevin, Serena, the utility players will be just filling in, but you need the guys that just, or ladies that come in and just do this 1 movement very well, and they win the race right there.
Yes.
Because that's what you need more like on echoes. If you have somebody that did this really fast, then you have 2 echoes, 1, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Because you're only doing 1 movement, and you just got to be really good at that 1 movement.
Yeah. I feel like the 1-hour match does definitely highlight
point,
specialists more for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't just highlight them. It becomes like a massively glaring hole if you don't have them too, you know?
Correct. I agree.
Like, I remember what you and Blake going head to head on those snatches. I mean, I'm trying to think, maybe JoJo in the South, like, who the hell can go as fast as you two did? And it just so happened that you two were both next to each other going at it. Like, we play almost anybody else. I think you beat him in that, you know?
Yeah.
And you got him in one, he got you in the other. If you have somebody who's 85% as good at that, no chance. That's over 7 reps ago.
Correct.
You know, like, in previous echoes, we could take advantage of the fact that the other team was tired as hell because they were riding their 1 fastest person, and we're putting in our 2nd fastest person, but they're keeping up with their fastest.
It's about the same level. Correct.
And that the time of that is over. You know?
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget, we have like the ultra super specialists too in the league with Q. I mean, if you're talking about a specialist, it doesn't get any more special
than him.
Right. That's true.
But that being said, like the rest of the league has gotten their cues too, right? Like you know, they have like their gymnastics specialists and like even their strength specialists. Like the level of specialists has gone now like to another level.
Yeah, it really has, right? Because when we first started this, you had about 5 guys who could do the high level gymnastics movements and like maybe 1 or 2 girls.
Like if you could do butterfly muscle ups, you were a specialist. Right. But
now every team, basically except for us, has a bunch of them who can do them, you know? So I think we all kind of relied on that crutch of Quentin a little bit too much. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's hope he never decides to not play.
This is something I know you guys wanted to talk about. So I'll give a little background on it, and then you two can jump in. When we first started this 5 seasons ago, you know, it was very much like a hobby or a part-time thing, right? It was like, yeah, sure, I'll go do that. That sounds fun. And when I say that, I mean like playing grid, being on the team, you know. And with each year, it's evolved into where now it's like a pretty legitimate commitment, you know. Like I'll say it, so you guys don't say it. Our team has to drive 3+ hours to and from the match each time, plus a full day playing. You know, plus it costs money to play, plus whatever you got to do to make sure your body feels good. The training time you have to kind of block off throughout the week to make sure you get your practice in, right? Like there's a level of commitment to this that I don't know was as strong before, you know? And I think our team really struggled with that this year. And I don't know if we've ever struggled with it before. Maybe we have, maybe we haven't, but it was really apparent this year, right? How do you guys feel about that?
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think just like we were saying, like the playing level has gone up, the level of commitment, the level of training that goes into preparing for these matches has gone up for sure. You can't just do CrossFit and then jump into a grid now and like think you're going to survive. You won't. You won't benefit your team at all.
Right.
You really have to practice the movements, like, you know, milliseconds faster than someone else, like actually does, you know, win races and grid. So, you know, there is very fine tuning that needs to be done. I think, and the good teams, I think practice, you know, like I don't think the good teams are there just because their guys show up or their girls show up and then they just perform. I think they train for it. And I do think we struggled with that this year. I think it plays a little bit in part to the fact that we thought we were going to have a stronger team than we did, and everyone kind of just, laid back and kind of just let it come. I know me personally. I mean, I've been training harder. Every season in Grid motivates me to train a little bit harder to get better at the special stuff, at more of the specialist roles. But it's hard to relay, and when it's a team sport, so if you could train your butt off 24/7 and then go and be as prepared as possible, you're not going to make the difference for the team every single race. You need everybody on the team to be on board, which is one of the great things about Grid and one of the reasons why we didn't do as well as we did this year.
Yeah, because that's important. It is one of the great things about Grid, right?
Yeah.
I've talked about this openly beforehand. I was not a very good athlete 4 years ago, and now I think I'm earning my spot on the league, right?
Definitely, yeah.
That only happens because we get to train together, we get to work together, we get the benefit of combined effort with all of us, But I feel like for the first time we didn't really have that as much, Yeah. And I wonder if we're some of the other teams are going to say similar problems, because there's some other teams that are, I'm not going to say who they are, there's some other teams that are underperforming as well, and I wonder if they're kind of feeling that same thing,
Yeah, I think commitment is huge. As the league grows, I think the commitment keeps growing. I mean, talent goes up, all that stuff. So you not only need to separate time for practice, all that stuff. You need to probably now, talk to each other. Even if you it's hard to practice. I mean, this is not, we don't get really paid for this.
Right.
We know. I mean, you can now, Grizz have gone pretty big.
Yeah,
where if
there are people who have accomplished it. We're just not the ones who have. So.
If you want to make money, you can make money. You can take advantage of that. I'm just not one of those lucky ones. But anyways.
My shirt's not tight enough. I need tighter shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, the level of commitment just goes up. I mean, commitment on to each other, commitment to the team, commitment to be able to practice on your own when nobody's watching, and commitment to just show up to practice. I think it all came back to commitment, and that's what I was talking about. I think that's what Gainesville right now is. So, the season hasn't been over so far. They have, been the best team.
Yeah.
And I just think it's because they're committed. They're committed to each other, all that stuff. They have that mantle or something they can hold on to. So
yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because they're not around each other.
Correct.
And they still manage to maintain that,
Yeah.
That's probably one of those other things we kind of took for granted, was the fact that we all see each other every once in a while. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. I mean, they do have a very talented team.
Yeah.
Not to take away from their strategy and the way they play together and the unity as a team, but individually they have one of the most talented teams in the league.
I didn't deny that, but I think it's just right now it just takes more than talent.
Yeah, it's talent meeting preparation and execution at the same time.
Correct.
Yeah, because we've seen the most talented team not win the championship before.
Yes.
That's happened many times.
Yep.
You guys keep talking about practice stuff. I think that's. Man, I can't imagine a thing more important than that, and individual practice and then group practice, right? If you can get to work out, if you work out an hour a day, I don't know how you don't practice, right? I'm not saying 3 extra hours of group practice. I'm saying you had a month to work on a movement. How have you not touched it 3 times? That's the kind of commitment where that kind of stuff has to be
and
there.
you have to have commitment.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of anxiety and head games that play into that. Players I know on our team, I think there's players that struggle with this too. Just they get into their own heads and they don't want to practice something because fear of failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If I practice it and then I show myself I can't?
Yeah. What if in practice I show myself I can't? Then what am I gonna? Oh, now I gotta message Nick and tell him I can't. And I'm like, yes, that is exactly what you're supposed to do.
Right. That's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Fail everything in practice and then let us know. But that didn't happen, and I think everyone realizes it. I think we addressed that.
I
think you addressed it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It comes back to commitment, and I think we all learned from this season.
Yeah,
I think our team right after that match, or maybe not right after the match, because we were all disappointed. But talking to them now, I think I think we're hungry. At least I am hungrier.
Yeah,
and I know I've talked to a couple other players where they're just hungry where. You got this bad taste in your mouth.
Yes.
Where it just kind of it doesn't feel right. You want to start practicing now, And I seen it already, and I know that Orlando also, because I saw one of their guys already practicing the day after.
Yeah,
They're like, so like you want more, and that's what we all do. Grit. This is fun.
Yeah.
We have to at least family commitments to get like push aside to be able to do grit. Work commitment. A lot of people, firefighters, police, and ones that they take the day off or something. To just go to the grid. So. Yeah, I think we're hungry, and I think I don't know. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it now, but I don't know. This has left a bad taste, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it or anything. But next year is gonna be.
Next year's our year.
No, I'm gonna say everybody says that. Like everybody, like everybody, everybody, even the NFL. The worst team. Dolphins are thinking right now they're gonna win the Super Bowl. Andre's gonna be mad now, but the Dolphins think they're gonna win the Super Bowl and they're not. But I really do think that our team and the way that we are gonna be starting doing things now, because I took a little bit of a bigger role.
Yeah,
on the team.
Very helpful.
This is my first year as a captain, I guess we can name it.
Yes.
So it was fun for me. I actually loved it. So I love like talking to people. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Helping Nick with strategy, all that stuff. And I think the way that, in my mind, we're gonna continue now through the whole year practicing as a team or as stuff like as a captain, me taking that role. I'm positive and scared for the other teams.
Yeah. One thing I will say, like, you did a great job as a captain this year. So I'm excited to see that carry on. I think that was great.
Me too.
And I'm grateful in part that the season ended the way it did because of what you just said. Like, everyone, even I know I talked to like teammates and stuff that were kind of like on the edge of like playing next year, like things like that. I think this this left that little bad taste in their mouth, so we're gonna have a chip on our shoulder going into next season. So I'm kind of grateful that it ended the way it did.
And I guess a big example of that is that Q,
right?
Our gymnastics guy, that he literally never works out. He just shows up and just do stuff in the ring.
Yeah.
He's working out.
Yeah.
He's working out. He's been
funny.
at the gym.
This whole practice doesn't apply to Q. He literally just walks in with his like Vans
and
his tourist hat.
Yeah, his tourist hat, his backpack,
and his like shoes that he has owned since what, like
the early 90s. Yeah.
His warm up is like 3 back up rises into like some back roll to supports.
And I'm like, hey Q, how many butterfly muscle ups can you do? He's like, how many do you want me to do? Like,
I know.
All right, cool, dude. Wait,
so he's working out. That's the biggest thing that I could say. Like, yeah, if he's doing that, it's because our team is hungry.
Yeah, it's motivated. The that feeling you guys are talking about, I feel that, right? Like, so I sat down next to Val during the Tampa Gainesville match, right? And I was like, hey, let's just sit here and live in this feeling for a couple seconds. Like, let's just sit here and know that like this match matters and ours don't anymore, and kind of just absorb that like disappointment, Yeah. Because that's, I think, something that can fuel you for later. And I know that, like, we've had other seasons where we've come up short. Obviously, we've never won a championship. But almost every one of those, I've been like, man, we did our absolute best.
Yes.
It's like the conference finals match against Tampa, right? A couple years ago. The one that it came down to a tie and then a review and then a redo. Like, obviously, I would have liked to see that we win that. But, man, we left everything out there,
Yeah. There's nothing. It was nothing out of our control. Like we put all our chips on the table.
And that's one of the things I like most about Grid, right? Is both teams can have their best performance, and one of them wins. Like you don't need the other team to mess up for you to win. And I like that. I felt like that's what happened in that. Like we had some mess ups. Tampa had some mess ups. It was a very back and forth match over and over. And then at the end, it was like everybody laid out everything, and they were the better team and they won, right? And I was disappointed, but not like, oh man, like it was like, damn it, okay, let's get ready for next time. This time I landed the season. I haven't looked at anything on social media. I've been so disappointed. You guys are like, yo, did you see your No, I haven't seen it. I don't want to see any of it. I don't even want to look it up. Instagram is showing me nothing but that and Afghanistan stuff right now. I'm like, stop showing me this crap, bro. I've never felt that way with Grid, and the whole time we've had it. I was disappointed at the end of the season, and if that doesn't fuel us, there's nothing that will ever fuel us. If that feeling doesn't make us want to get ready for next year, there won't be a thing that does,
Agreed.
I agree. Well, it has, and I know it has. I know for sure.
something I definitely want to talk about is, so again, this is year 5 of the league, right? The logistics of the Florida Grid League.
Oh my God.
The reffing, the sponsorships available to the league and the players, the quality of, like I said, equipment and reffing, the live stream that happened last match.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Yeah, I mean, I could start off saying like it's grown every year, and like it's really amazing to see how good of a job just the whole team is doing, right? Like the whole organization from the top to bottom. I think from reffing to managing to everything, like the live streams, the social media presence, like it's awesome to watch and it's awesome to be a part of, you know. So and it's truly, you know, I appreciate it because we give a lot of our time to practice and like be part of the league. So it's nice to see our efforts, you know, mirrored on the other end, like and even tenfold, like right. I think reffing was I just want to mention like reffing was the best I think it's ever been.
Agreed.
Agree. I think this season was one of the best seasons. So yeah, they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, I can't even imagine I can because I actually talk to them pretty often because I'm interested in this kind of stuff, the logistics and all that stuff. And I know a lot goes into it, like a lot. So all I can say is thank you, gratitude for all the volunteers, all the ref, the equipment people, the people that set up,
Dude,
Valor.
So much work, yeah.
Like, oh my God, it goes so much just for us. The photographers, videographers. I mean, there's so much that goes into it that, yeah, I mean, it's amazing how we can go from my first year, which I thought was a pretty cool setup, how now is we're like, hey, we're playing on this, you know, expo and all that stuff in front of these people and have all this cool stuff and like the sponsors and man, it's amazing. I'm happy that it's growing. I'm happy that the talent's going up. I'm happy that obviously we're learning from our mistakes, you know, when referees and just in general, the league is growing. I mean, we started this technically, I mean, I know there was a great league before, but technically from scratch, and it's been growing into like something that is amazing that has actually people traveling, paying a flight to come play.
Yeah, from other parts of the country to come play in matches. Yeah.
Like, there's a guy I think that from Miami that comes from Argentina. Yeah. And there's, you know, people from Texas, Minneapolis, like not close. No, it's not like coming from Georgia or like, you know, like a drive or something. They're coming from far to play. It's because the amazing job that the league has done on growing this and like it's amazing. Yeah.
I'm about to age out, dude. We better win soon.
I was going to say that. It's like the same thing. The talent keeps going up. Oh, whatever. You still got it. But I'm like, I'm on the borderline, you know?
I was thinking, Fico, you, me, Serena, and Rachel, we gotta start thinking about retirement plans.
You know, that's right. He doesn't know, but this is the reason I took the captain role. You know? Assistant coach, you know?
Yeah, the live stream was unbelievable, right? Like I would put that up there quality wise. Almost any sporting event I've ever seen. That was insane how good it was.
So awesome.
Oh, and the commentating.
Yeah,
the commentating. Obviously, there were some mistakes in the commentating, but whoa, I don't know if you know. If you don't know people by face, there's no way you can see our numbers.
Yeah, right.
So like, yeah, but he did it awesome.
Yeah, because I had some shit to say about the commentating last time, and it was very good this time. It was A plus quality. I loved it. Yeah. Cool. Jhoan, why do you have such strong feelings about tight jerseys?
I don't have strong feelings. I actually like the only...
Guys, he went away from the mic to rub himself in his tight shirt.
I literally wore the tightest shirt I could probably find to simulate like the real grid experience, you know? Like every time that a match ends and I have to take my jersey off, I'm very careful not to rip it. Like I have to have someone either pull it off or just like make sure that I don't rip it over. I don't know if that's just me, like I need to lose some weight or or the league because I'm getting like a double XL jersey here. This is not like I'm ordering a medium and I can't fit into my jersey. Like I'm ordering a 2XL. I appreciate it on snatches because like, you know, get the bar tight, you know, real skin tight to your body, you know? But other than that, it could be a little bit looser. I'm not gonna lie.
The first season, I ordered Charlie and I jerseys.
Oh my God, I can imagine Charlie getting into that.
Charlie does not fit into one of them.
So what happened was, we definitely used a different place to make them than we did originally. They just sent us all sizes above large with like a different tag, but not in any way different.
Wow.
Yeah, so we squeezed Charlie into the large, and there's a great photo of it being basically just under his chest with his stomach hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we had to cut it to get it off.
How tall is Charlie? Like 7'5"?
Yeah, at least 7'5",
7'5".
470 pounds, you know?
Yeah.
No,
Him fitting into a large is ridiculous.
I mean, I do
can't
agree
even
the
picture it.
jerseys are tight as hell. I mean, I cannot put them on myself.
No.
I cannot take it off by myself.
It's a team effort.
Do
Team
like
sport.
if you I don't know what material they are or whatever it is, but you can sweat and they don't get heavy. They don't get like all that. So
That's true.
if you can make them looser, I'm happy with that. But don't change the material. Whatever that is, because we get.
I know they're comfortable because we'll sometimes go to dinner after matches and none of us can get the jerseys off. So we're sitting at dinner in our sweaty jerseys. And I'm like, this isn't all that uncomfortable.
But they're not sweaty. Like
That's what I mean. Like our wet jerseys.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't like
They're comfy.
Yeah, if you sweat on this, like you start dripping and you're like, it gets heavy. You know, it gets heavy. That shirt don't.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like usually when I'm working out, like at the local box, it's hot, and I sweat and I have to change my shirt. Like at Salvation, like I'll change my shirt like 3 times because it's so hot. I'm sweating through like my shirts. But
those great shirts.
this doubleheader, I wore the same jersey for both matches. I did not think I was going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it was comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone from the league office is listening, Jhoan would like tighter jerseys, he's saying. He would like tighter crop top jerseys.
This is, I mean, even I remember some of the girls saying I don't want to complain about tight jerseys because I know they the shorts, I think the first year of the league or something were really tight.
Yeah.
So it got much better.
They got much better. The first year were rough. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember having to get Mary Ellie. We had to staple hers because her butt would hang out the moment she bent over.
Yeah, so I'm not complaining. All
right, so long season. We're getting near the end here. We had things that we've never had happen before. We had injury issues. Mm-hmm. We've been lucky enough not to run into that most times, right? Jhoan, you missed a match.
Yeah.
We had COVID take at least one of our players out, for 2 matches when we really could have used her, you know. Mm-hmm. We had some players choose to stop playing either during the season or before the season or immediately after the signing period ended, so we couldn't sign anybody else.
Yep.
Those are situations we haven't run into before, right? What are some things you want to highlight in a positive way from the season? What are some individual performances, some moments, some stuff you're looking forward to maybe trying to beat next year, people you want to make sure get a shout out, anything like that?
I think about everybody in general, the whole team. We adjusted. Obviously, the people showed up. We adjusted. Shout out to I'm gonna say a couple names here, but it's not like in general. I'll say Andrea and Rachel. Both of them, didn't supposed to be doing something and they had to do it. Stepped up. Nick as well, multiple times. You had to do snatches. You have to do like all the farmer's care. You have to do things that were definitely not in your repertoire. Actually, you found it in that same day. Mike.
That's true.
Mike stepped up and did the front squats whenever Jhoan got hurt. What weight was it?
255.
255. Yeah, he stepped up.
He's 4 feet tall and he still did it.
Yeah. So it was extremely heavy for him.
Yeah.
But he did it. A lot of people stepped up, and I'll probably forget people, but I think everybody showed up. We adjusted the best we could with what we had at hand. And so I'm proud of that. Yes, the outcome was not the best, but I don't think the season was a failure. I mean, as a team, we were disappointed and we failed to make it past to the playoff. But I think we learned a lot. We know that now a few of our players got more confident in them because they were in spots that were not supposed to be. So in general, I think we grew as a team, and especially our role players. Yeah. And in general, actually, also like Jhoan, who was hurt, but he still showed up for the match when he couldn't play. Coach and cheers on. Same thing with Fernando. Show up to every single, went to practice. His shoulder was hurting. He did the burpees to 9-inch rings.
I was so happy when he got those.
Yeah, I know.
So
I was just looking at Nick's face when that was happening the whole time.
Dude,
everyone was a sigh of relief. Like, oh.
Yeah, we're getting to 6. I'm like, oh no. We get to 7. I'm like, oh, please no. 8. And I see him lit up for 9. I turned around, I didn't even see it. I'm just like, please, please, please. And then I heard everybody cheer, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people stepped up. A lot of people even hurt play. All that stuff. So
yeah, how many of us had injuries that, like, going into matches? This is the first time I played injured this year. Yeah, it was a part of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I know it's always a part of it, but this year was more.
And FYI, the injuries were not because of grit.
No, not honestly, not a single one, right? It was
all Jhoan, but it wasn't really it was during a grit match.
Yeah.
He was doing cleans at what, 135?
Yeah,
something that he does like.
Well, yeah, I think it had played in part to just us not having the team that we thought we were gonna have this year, and like taking on different roles.
Yeah.
Like I don't usually do the first 2 quadrants of a partner forward. And the injury happened because I did the first quadrant of one of the partner forwards, and I started moving a barbell as fast as I could at a light weight for the first 2 quadrants, but I just moved it, too fast.
Yeah, but like that's why, right? Because we had a roster set up for you an entirely different role. You know?
Right. And likewise, like I don't know if you're done with.
I'm done.
Like Knicks, I don't think anybody expected you to play as much as you did this season.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Like, and that is a highlight. I think, it just goes to show with how versatile our team is, and our ability to adapt. Highlights. I did want to make some highlights. Like our rookies this year were like a big
man.
Like
dude.
Val, Jenna, Kara coming in. Even though she's not technically a rookie, she played a year before. But I mean, she was a big help. But yeah, I mean, when we I don't want to say, but Layla not being there we thought was going to be a huge hole. But Val coming in to fill her shoes and perform the way she did was awesome. Like that being her first year in grid, like she picked it up, like it's natural to her. And Jenna was a big pickup too. I don't want to say I recruited her, but I'm pretty sure I recruited her.
After Nick tried for 4 years.
Right. After Nick tried for 4 years, I was finally the one that got her on the team. Just want to mention
if I wore some tighter fucking shirts.
If there was an MVP of recruiting, that's me right here. One of my other recruitments didn't go so well.
Yeah, I'll say you're about 50-50. 50-50 great, 50 just horrendous.
I mean, Kara was also technically recruited by me, so that's 75%.
No, it was good. I think a lot of people stepped up. I love the team. I think our team is a little different as well, because I say a little different, I don't know, but I think it's different. We are all actually friends, and we actually see each other pretty often. Like we hang out all the time. Like our team is we do have really like good chemistry.
Yeah.
And this year was actually even by far, like before we were good, but like this year we were like having fun.
Right.
In general, like when we saw each other, we were having fun. Maybe that's part of the problem, but we were like, damn it, stop having fun. But no, I think our team has good chemistry, all that stuff.
We have a games athlete now. Well, we have Hannah.
Hannah.
We were going to have another games athlete.
Because I definitely want to make some shout outs. I mean, Hannah got no training time with us. Hannah Hardy came off the games. We made an agreement. Once we saw she qualified for the game, it was like, hey, dude, I'm not going to bother you with any grid
Just
stuff.
make sure for next year you have to do the same agreement for me.
Yeah,
I'm going.
when you make it for the Masters 65 and up.
Masters? Bro.
We said,
I'm going, bro.
We won't worry about grid stuff. Just you do you, go win the games, and then when you're done, we'll talk about grid stuff. To her credit, man, 2 days later, she's like, what do you need me to practice?
Yeah.
And Hannah's entire grid experience with us is 2 weekends.
Exactly.
It's the ASWN tournament last year, and then the doubleheader this one.
Yeah.
So,
and you could see the progress. I saw her progress from last year, which she still did good in the tournament. But this year, she killed it. She did amazing.
Like her, so 2 people very specifically, like her and then Jenna, Jenna Riddle, who missed the doubleheader. Like, I'm excited that other teams don't realize how good they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they have an off season of training with us, preparing. I'm so excited. Like, I'm sad for Jenna because I would have loved her to get to shine a little bit more this weekend because she's such a good player. But I'm selfishly happy that the rest of the teams in the North might not yet realize we have those two. And that makes me happy, right?
Yeah.
Because they're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. And then Kara, she was a last minute signing. Mm-hmm. She played for us in year 2, hadn't played again since then.
What a pickup.
Yeah, we had some last minute quits on the team, and we're like, man, we have a real hole here. We have a massive gymnastics hole. Like, what are we gonna do about this? And big credit to her, man. She was all about it. She was a great team player. She did everything we needed her to do, even if I was yelling at her as it was happening.
That's true.
That's one of my favorite moments of like all grid is just watching Kara do the triple touches and Nick just like, get off the fucking thing, and Kara's just like, what? I can't hear you.
And then at the end, she's like, well, I could hear you, I just didn't want to get off.
Oh man, that was amazing. That was fun.
And then, I don't. Fico, you buddy, like you did so much this season. You did nobody moved up the depth chart more than you did. You went from, like you said, playing half a match usually to being in literally every single race, I think except for 1 or 2 Jack and Jills the entire season.
Bro, I did Jack and Jill twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bro,
that's insane.
That was been my goal since I started grid, to do a Jack and Jill. So, check box.
That's a check box for sure. Yeah, I think you did amazing.
You can't not highlight that,
Thank you.
And then the last one is Val, man. Val, right? Like Val, it sucks because she's not going to get the shine because we didn't finish well. Mm-hmm. I think Val was definitely the best rookie in the league this year. I mean, the fact that she went from doing 3 quadrants of mirror into the ringer and losing by half second.
Yeah.
Like she had like 45 seconds of recovery time.
No, it's not just the mirror and the ringer. Is the mirror is a heavy, usually barbell movement, and she went to high level gymnastics literally right after. So the versatility of that is ridiculous.
I'm saying this against anybody in the league. Who else can do that? I don't know that there's anybody else who can do that. Right? We have some of the guys who can do gymnastics who are pretty strong. Who's doing 3 quadrants in mirror? And then one of the most challenging things we have against another team's best person,
big time.
And like she didn't lose that. That girl in Orlando was just insanely
really
fast. She was so fast.
So fast.
I'm very excited for next season for her.
Heck yeah.
Because she was learning the rules like as the matches were going on. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I think the positive from this season by far is our newer players.
Yeah,
and even like our not so newer players that played before but didn't have a big role. They actually stepped up now, and they have the experience now. So
I got some prospects on the radar for next season. I'll do some recruiting.
All right, so we got about a 50-50 on those.
I know, right?
I'm bringing some good talent, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Calling Cuba now. Gymnastics thinking Cuba's gonna come over here.
He's got the cocaine cowboys going.
All the guys that stayed from the Cuban baseball team.
I don't know if you haven't
I'm not
seen
related to that guy, by the way.
Whatever, it's his uncle.
Yeah, it is.
Willie Falcon.
Falcon. It's his uncle.
Maybe. I don't know, actually.
Guys,
you never know.
Anything else you want to bring up? This will probably be the last Sharks podcast we do till next preseason. So,
I was gonna say again, thank you to all the teammates. Thank you to Nick and Charlie for just doing an awesome job as always to accommodate us, and thank you for the league, Matter, Rudy, and just thank you. I think I'm excited for next season. Right now, disappointed. I'm probably gonna be disappointed this whole week, but that's just how it's gonna go. Then I'll just get back into it, and but yeah, we're excited for next season. Thank you for everybody that contributes, anybody that come to watch. I know the last doubleheader we had a lot of people coming from the Southwest Florida coming up. So thank you guys, and I guess I'm just thankful.
Yeah, I'd like to double up on all those thank yous to everybody that was just mentioned, and as well as like the team's still in it. I'm excited to watch. I never realized how much of a fan I was of grid until I started watching matches. And I'm like, this is super exciting. It's almost more fun. I wouldn't say more fun than playing, but it is.
It's close.
It's close.
It is pretty close, man. I was watching that Gainesville and Tampa match.
That was fun.
Even though as like competitors, like you hate them. I was cheering for everybody. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to watch those the playoffs.
Yeah, same. Big shout out to all the league sponsors. Thank you very much to the Florida Grid League for the work you guys put in. There's so much work behind the scenes, and thank you to all you guys for doing that. To any of the players, thank you guys. Thank you too. Thank the rest of the players. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment, as we've talked on a whole bunch. Season ended like shit, but I'm excited for the next one.
Yep, for sure.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Fins up.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us today on the Shark Bite Show. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition, or on our website at sharkbitefitness.com. If you'd like to find out more about our guests, their information will be in the show notes. If you'd like to talk to us about getting more fit, feel free to schedule a free no sweat intro at one of our locations in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, or Naples, Florida.